The energy around Ripple is building to an almost cinematic crescendo, and I'm talking about meetings, discussions, and high-stakes negotiations that involve not just Ripple executives, but shadow-level talks with financial titans like BlackRock, JP Morgan, even whispers of IMF observers watching every step. Imagine the SEC leaning in, eyes wide, knowing that the ripple effect, pun intended, of this coming news could trigger shockwaves across the entire financial ecosystem. This isn't speculation, this is a fast-moving storm in which XRP could suddenly emerge as a dominant force in global liquidity. And if you're not positioning yourself right now, make no mistake, you will be left behind. Before we go any further, hit that subscribe button, smash the notification bell, because this channel is your lifeline to the real story, the one Wall Street doesn't want you to hear. And trust me, every second counts when moves like this are in play. The tension is already palpable in boardrooms. Executives are pacing, lawyers are drafting, strategies are forming, and XRP holders are about to become front-row witnesses to events that could redefine crypto forever. What does this mean for you? It means that information asymmetry, the type that banks and hedge funds live for, is about to flip, and you are on the threshold of accessing it before the masses wake up. Prepare yourself, because by the end of this video, you will see why this is not just another Ripple update. This is the kind of market-altering development that could trigger reactions from every corner of the financial world, from SEC subpoenas to speculative pressure from global liquidity giants. The whispers aren't whispers anymore. They are loud, aggressive, and impossible to ignore. And we're diving straight into why these meetings, these negotiations, these secret-level strategic discussions are likely to produce outcomes so shocking that mainstream crypto channels won't even touch them. Here's where it gets absolutely insane. The data we're seeing right now isn't just numbers on a chart. It's a full-blown signal that Ripple is playing a high-stakes game few even realize exists. Look at the recent SEC filings, the subtle hints in Ripple's press releases, and the cross-border payment data showing unprecedented transaction volume spikes. These aren't coincidences. They are breadcrumbs leading straight to a potential tipping point, and if you know how to read them, it screams opportunity. Consider this. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager controlling trillions in AUM, has quietly been exploring crypto infrastructure partnerships, and Ripple, with its X-Rapid liquidity solutions, is right at the center of that attention. JP Morgan analysts are reportedly running internal scenario models, not for fun, but to anticipate how Ripple could disrupt the SWIFT system. And insiders say there are contingency plans being drafted for massive adoption events. And then there's the IMF, which has recently published papers hinting at CBDC integration frameworks that line up almost perfectly with RippleNet's capabilities. Do you see what this implies? XRP isn't just a token, it's a potential linchpin in global financial restructuring. The velocity of adoption, the cross-border settlement efficiency, and the looming institutional interest mean that we could be on the precipice of a liquidity revolution the likes of which the financial world hasn't seen since the creation of the euro. Prepare for shock, because if even half of this speculation becomes reality, the ramifications for price, for partnerships, and for regulatory attention are extreme. And let's not forget the legal landscape. The ongoing Ripple versus SEC saga isn't just a courtroom drama, it's a high-level chess match watched by every major financial player, and the decisions made here could create an unprecedented precedent for crypto regulation. This is your moment to be aware, informed, and strategically positioned. The time to act, or at the very least, the time to fully understand what's coming, is now. Now, let's talk about the catalyst, the exact triggers that could turn all this insider-level intelligence into explosive market movement. The major talks coming up aren't some run-of-the-mill investor call. They're high-level negotiations involving Ripple execs, institutional giants like BlackRock and Fidelity, and yes, regulatory observers from the SEC and potentially the CFTC, all aligning on strategies that could redefine cross-border payments forever. Imagine a scenario where Ripple secures a major liquidity partnership or an integration deal that bypasses traditional rails entirely. This isn't hype. This is what insiders are whispering about. And the impact on XRP's adoption and valuation could be seismic. But here's the thing. With massive opportunity comes massive FUD. Trolls, naysayers, and the mainstream media will try to spin every move as uncertainty or risk. They'll ask, is XRP really safe? What about the SEC case? And they'll try to shake confidence. Don't fall for it. This is exactly the type of orchestrated fear that the big players use to accumulate before a massive move. Remember, when institutions like JP Morgan or BlackRock move quietly, they do so under the radar, and every rumor of doubt you hear is often a smokescreen. The truth is, the legal case, far from being a barrier, could serve as a blueprint for clarity, legitimizing Ripple's model and setting a precedent that could invite trillions in institutional capital into the crypto ecosystem. This is the calm before the storm, the period where positioning matters most, where understanding the players, the timing, and the regulatory undercurrents could mean the difference between getting left behind or being front row for one of the most dramatic shifts in crypto history. Insider whispers suggest that these talks could culminate in announcements or moves that mainstream crypto news simply won't predict, because they aren't plugged into the high-level financial matrix. XRP holders, pay attention. This is your rare chance to see behind the curtain, to understand the orchestration, and to prepare mentally and strategically for what comes next. Here's where it gets truly explosive: the price justification. All the pieces we've discussed, the institutional interest, the cross-border adoption potential, the regulatory clarity looming on the horizon, aren't just abstract concepts. They translate directly into market impact, and the numbers are staggering if you follow the logic. Let's break it down. If Ripple secures even a fraction of the institutional liquidity we're talking about, the demand for XRP will skyrocket almost overnight. We're talking about a scenario where transaction velocity, settlement adoption, and strategic partnerships converge, creating a perfect storm of scarcity versus demand. The historical data backs this. Every time XRP has been involved in major adoption announcements, the market responds violently, and there is no reason to believe this time will be different. Except, now the scale is institutional, global, and systemic. Imagine BlackRock or Fidelity quietly onboarding RippleNet solutions for cross-border liquidity, while the IMF and other regulatory bodies move toward frameworks that legitimize XRP usage. Do the math. The market cap implications are enormous, and the potential price trajectory is nothing short of jaw-dropping. But here's your final warning. The window to position yourself is finite. As soon as these negotiations leak, as soon as any public signals emerge, retail investors will swarm, volatility will spike, and the opportunity to enter at informed levels will diminish rapidly. This isn't a drill. This isn't fear-mongering. It's an urgent, insider-level call to recognize that the next weeks could define XRP's trajectory for the next decade. Prepare for shock, prepare for movement, and prepare to be one of the few who saw it coming. Because when this breaks fully into public consciousness, it's going to be chaotic, it's going to be fast, and those who hesitated will be left asking, WTF just happened? While the informed few capitalize on the ripple effect of a lifetime. Here's the conclusion, and this is where it all comes together. Esteemed XRP holders, the evidence, the insider whispers, the institutional signals, and the regulatory undercurrents all point to one undeniable reality. Ripple is on the brink of something monumental, something that could redefine not just the crypto landscape, but global financial systems as a whole. This isn't theory. This is a strategic alignment of power, capital, and timing that few outside the inner circles even realize is happening. If you've been paying attention, you now understand why the next moves are critical, why positioning yourself, staying informed, and thinking like the institutions could separate you from the masses scrambling after headlines. The SEC case, the BlackRock and JP Morgan interest, the IMF frameworks, they aren't roadblocks, they're accelerants. And the message is simple. This is the calm before the storm, the moment where clarity and insight give you an edge, the point at which hesitation could cost you more than just opportunity. It could cost you relevance in the next wave of financial transformation. Take this knowledge seriously, act strategically, stay close to the updates, and watch closely as Ripple and XRP continue to move toward the eye of the storm. This is your insider alert, your privileged insight, and if you follow the signals correctly, you won't just survive this shift, you will be ahead of it, riding the ripple that others won't even see coming. The time to act is now, and the time to understand is before the mainstream even wakes up. Prepare yourself because the future of XRP is unfolding as we speak, and the ripple effect is about to hit harder than anyone imagined.